Hey guys, this is What If Naruto was reincarnated into the SCP Foundation world. So yeah, in this it's gonna be like OP Naruto that reincarnated. So he has essentially everything and a bunch of abilities when he unlocks the dojutsus. His eyes cannot be stolen unless you have chakra, and he's gonna be the only one in this world with chakra or any energy like that whatsoever. So yeah, and okay, let's get into it. OP Naruto right now is dying of old age, or at least one of the OP Narutos. As he then says, "I wish I could go somewhere that needs my help." As he says that, he dies and reincarnates as a kid with all of his memories intact. So yeah, actually no, with most of his memories intact. Actually no, all of them, and he won't have it all unlocked. Just so you know, because he has to reawaken it. Actually no, he'll start off with being able. Also, just so you know, in his past life, he had this Mangekyu. Then it went, and then that was his best friend's eternal. Actually, no, Mangekyu. But his best friend died and told him to take his eyes and swap them. So it became that. So this is essentially the eye he's going to be using. So yeah, when he stay at the 3 Tamo. As a baby, he'll have the 3 Tamo, but he won't be able to show it. But he won't show it. Okay? Okay. So we go to one day, the SCP Foundation saw that some robbers were about to rob a kid's house. They went to go and help because, and this I'm gonna say, it was two kind workers of the SCP Foundation, as they saw the robbers kill the kid's mother right in his face, as they could see the visible anger, as they saw him his not that one. Where is it? They see his 3 Tamo start spinning. As they're wondering what's that, as it spins into the eternal Mangekyu pattern. As they're like, wait, this kid must be an anomaly. We must get him. As they say, hey kid, what's that in your eyes? As they say, see that. Actually, no. They see him, the robbers say, you know what, you're next, kid. As they can see the visible rage in his eyes. As they hear Amaterasu. Because he'll still bleed from the eye when he uses his abilities, but he won't go blind, okay? As then they see him bleed from the eye and the man set on black fire. As they're like, we better contain him. As they go in and say, hey, as they know that this kid could probably easily kill them and they don't know how to contain him. So they say, hey kid, would you mind following us so we can help you and ask you some questions? As he says, sure. As he goes with the SCP Foundation people, as they drive him to the SCP Foundation and say, I think we found a new SCP. As they say, wait, what? We saw him watch his parents die. He had a red eye with a slightly darker red ring around it, a black dot in the middle, and 3 commas. But it then spinned and spinned, and it had a pattern on that, and its red turned a little darker. And he said, and the man wanted to harm him again, but then he said Amaterasu, and his eye bled when he was presenting it to you after saying that, and a bunch of fire and black fire engulfed the robber. As they say, wait, what? That kid is an anomaly. We must contain him. That's the thing, we don't know how to. From what we've seen, he's quite powerful. And with that ability, he used it his first time, I think. But when also the funny part is the robber did try to attack him, but he got punched and nothing happened and I think that eye has some abilities. As then they okay, let's bring it to the as they knock him out and send him to the SCP Foundation. As they knocked him out by pure luck, because he deactivated his Sharingan. That's the only reason why they actually were able to knock him out. Because he cannot be knocked out because of the immunity to Taijutsu. Normally, as then they say, put him in a cell, and a doctor says, "Hello, kid. How long have you had these anomalous abilities?" Actually, no. He says, "Where am I?" He says, "You're in the SCP Foundation. May I ask what you did?" Actually, no. You're gonna be safe here. And as he says, "Can I come out?" As she asks, actually, no. For now, he won't have the Eternal. He will have the Mangekyu. And I'm gonna say that his best friend had this. As he says, "Hey, ma'am, can I go get something?" As she says, "What is it you need? And we'll get it for you. Can you give me some paper to show you it?" Wait, what's that? It's an eye, similar to mine. It has a different pattern. I need you to get it for me. I hid it so no one would get it. Would try and take it until I gained it. My eye, similar to it, which is what... May I ask it? There's just 4 stages to the base form of it before it becomes the next, like a rebirth of it. It goes to Mangekyu, but there's only one way to stop you from going blind of overuse, and that's to swap out your eyes with someone you're related to or a very close friend with that has the Mangekyu. And I would like to get my Eternal. As they say, "You know what? Sure, just because we want to know, but can we take your old eyes?" He says, "Sure, but be warned. It uses ridiculous amounts of energy, and it cannot be turned off if someone that's not a part if it's not a part of the Uchiha clan, but they can use its abilities. However, it will be super draining for them." As they say, "Okay, now I'm going to do the procedure because I'm very smart and I learned how to." As they said, "Okay." And 1 hour later, they bring him the eyes. He activates his Mangekyus and takes that one out and puts this in, making it spin into this and with the other. And he regenerated instantly because of the 2 Tomo's regenerative capability. As then they say, "Whoa, that was fast." As he says, "Here," as he gave them the eyes. As they say, "May I ask how they work?" Well, they have lots of abilities, so I recommend. Also, they're very dangerous to normal people. As they say, "Okay." As they also ask, "Do you know of your anomalous abilities?" You mean the Sharingan? Well, I can tell you. The first Tomo can be achieved by training or emotional pain, and second Tomo only by emotional pain. Third Tomo, same as the first Tomo. Then the Eternal Mangekyu. It's gained from swapping eyes with a Mangekyu, but for a Mangekyu, you need to watch someone very close to you die right in front of you. They hear. Then there's Rinnegan and a bunch of others, which I don't have yet. As he says, "Okay." As the SCP Foundation says, "Okay." Also, he says, "Can I request something? One more thing?" He says, "Sure." Actually, no. We skip to the next day. As they saw that was weird. As now they're doing another experiment with him because they're experimenting with him. But before they do that, they're just going to visit him. This one's going to be like a little bit of his caretaker, because they think that a kid like SCPs should have a caretaker or someone to watch over them. This will be Dr. Ryu. Actually, no, Ryu. Their name is going to be Dr. Ryu, okay? As he wakes up, and then they say, "Ah, you're finally awake." As he says, "Who are you?" "I'm your caretaker, Dr. Ryu." As he says, "Okay, Mr. Dr. Ryu. Can I have a request?" As he says, "Sure." As he says, "It depends on what it is, though." He says, "Can we play a game? Can I have someone to spar against?" Wait, spar? What do you mean by spar? You see, there's one thing I like, and that's sparring. What's sparring to you? Well, sparring is essentially fighting, but you don't kill and if you're hurt severely, I can just heal it. Wait, what are your abilities? Well, right now, I'm immunity to pretty much everything but Senjutsu. What's Senjutsu? It's a special technique that can only be used by special people that control chakra. I'm currently the last chakra user of this place, so no one can use Senjutsu besides me. Then I also have infinite regeneration, so I regenerate very fast. Then I have infinite uses of Izanagi for my 3 Tomo. Meaning as long as I have enough time to say Izanagi, then the next time I die, I will come back. Then my Eternal has a ton of abilities, but I'm not gonna talk about that. As he says, okay. As they say, okay. May we ask, what was that black fire? That's Amaterasu, the flames of the underworld. They can burn through anything and everything. They even melt through They also, if it's a metal, well, no matter what, whether unbreakable or not, melts it. So, because of my special chakra, which is more potent than it should be. As they say, okay. But anyways, your request is going to be fulfilled. As they bring in a SCP that is a human with superhuman strength. Actually, yeah. And they want to see just how strong he is as against them. As then the kid says, okay, I'll spar. As he starts fighting, and the person that has really good reaction speed, so he activates his 3 Tamoi, and then he starts winning as he literally beats down on him, and he snaps his fingers, and he's back, and he heals him after that. As he says, can I have one last request for today? She says, okay, but we're gonna have to start an experiment. As they say, okay. As then they say, can we play a game of chess? He says, wait, you actually like stuff like chess? Well, strategy stuff, to be exact. That's what I like about chess, he says. As he says, okay. As then they play a game of chess. He wins by billions of times more easy than it should be. So yeah, he's gonna get ridiculous. He's ridiculously smart strategy, and he knows his poisons. He can make it. As then he says, okay, we're gonna start our first test. As they are going, it says containment breached, and I don't ever remember all the SCP numbers, so I'm just gonna say the Plague Doctor escaped, and the Plague Doctor sees him and wants to test if he has the what was it, pest or look, whatever he's always talking about. I never can remember. As he tests it, and nothing happens. So he says, wait, you don't have it. As then the Plague Doctor says, that's peculiar, someone without it. Well, I think we could be friends, as he says. Because I'm going to say in this that he actually is willing to be friends with someone who doesn't have it. What? Oh yeah, it's pesterism. Something like that. I don't remember. I'm not very good at remembering. So yeah. He says, sure. As then he after that encounter, the Plague Doctor willingly goes with the guards to go into his cell because he does not want to be separated from him, and he knows that it's probably a test. And they go back on their way to a test. They bring him to 682, the lizard that cannot die. As then the lizard feels an instinct of fear. Because Amaterasu will literally, he has the flames of obliteration as one of his eternal Mangekyu abilities. And Mangekyu ability. So yeah, he can use that and it will obliterate the lizard out into nothingness. As he feels fear for the first time in a long time. As then he starts trembling, as the guards say, why is 682 trembling? He says, I want you to engage 682, the doctor says. And he says, okay. As he goes up to 682, 682 tries to. And that's the end of the first part of What If Naruto Was Reincarnated in SCP. So, tell me how you like it. Tell me what you think you would want to see in it. And tell me who I should encounter after 682. And also, correct me if 682 is not the immortal lizard. I forget sometimes. Either way, almighty cliffhanger, no jutsu.